Hello, and welcome to Eagle Exchange, where we highlight the people who make Rockingham County a special place. I'm Jerry Hunt, Director of Public Information here at Rockingham Community College. Today, we have Nadine Jansen. She is an Assistant Professor of Mathematics. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Jerry.
So what we'd like to do is just kind of get to know you and learn about your passion for teaching, what led you here, and just how you are in the classroom with the students. So let's start with telling us where you grew up, where you're from.
Sure. So I was born on Fort Bragg.
Oh, wow.
And grew up in Fayetteville for some time. I kind of moved around North Carolina a little bit, but from a pretty young age, I settled in the western part of Rockingham County. So like even from elementary school, middle school, high school, with Stoneville Elementary, Western Rockingham, McMichael. And when I graduated, I went to A&T. I did not originally plan on studying math. I planned on studying engineering. There's another story behind that. But so I graduated from there. I went to NC State to get my master's degree. And as soon as I graduated with my master's, that summer, I started looking for jobs, and RCC was hiring a math professor. And so I applied, and I've been here ever since.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. So what got you into that, I guess, the engineering math area?
So I went to A&T, and I wasn't 100% sure what I wanted to major in. But then I got there, and engineering was a really big major there. They're known for producing a lot of Black engineers. And so I said, I'll be an architectural engineer major. And so my first semester, I'm taking this modeling class where we had to construct a 3D building from poster board and using X-Acto knives and glue it together, which was not my forte. So I constructed one. I took it into the class. I set it on the instructor's desk at the front. I sat in the back of the class. And so the instructor came in and looked at the projects and picked mine up and put it on the floor and stepped on it. It was bad, admittedly.
Oh, no.
It was bad, but he picked it up and stepped on it and kept moving. And I was in the back like, is that mine? And I said, you know what? I left class that day and changed my major to math because I was taking calculus at the time already, and I was really enjoying it. And I was working in study rooms, helping my classmates with it. People were coming to my dorm saying, we have a test tomorrow, can we study? And I was really enjoying that. So I said, you know what? I'll just kind of lean into what I know I'm good at. No one's picking up my math paper and ripping it up in my math class. And yeah, that's kind of how I decided to formally study math.
So when you decide to study math, is that specifically like teaching math? I mean, are there other ways to study math and
that's a good question. I think I never really thought about it like that. But yeah, I think once I made that decision, I kind of knew I'm going to end up teaching. I'm going to end up in the classroom. And I always knew that it was going to be at a higher education level in some college that I would be teaching math.
Well, and I've seen you in the classroom. So, I came and took some photos for the Career and College Promise program. And you were at Dalton McMichael. So you're still teaching the high school students there?
I am.
Okay.
I am. In fact, I just finished up with them Friday, and I won't be back there until August.
Oh, gosh.
But we are traveling to McMichael to teach. That's I actually really enjoy that part of my job. One, I think there's a few things. I went to McMichael, so being there, it's kind of just, it kind of feels like home again. Yeah, it does. Some of the teachers that taught me are still there. Even some of the administrators that were there when I was there have still been there. And, I walk into these high school classrooms and I tell them, this is a college class. I'm a college instructor. I am going to treat all of you like adults, and I expect all of you to act like adults. And for the most part, not even for the most part, like they received that very well. Dr. Kinlaw, our former president, he said something to me in the first interview I had with him that's really stuck with me. He said it because they were talking about how young I looked. Like I was 23 when I started teaching there. And the question came up of, you're so young, these kids aren't much younger than you. Some of them might be older than you. And at the end of the day, he said, these students are here to learn.
Yeah.
And if you're here to teach them, I don't think you're going to have any issues. And
Right.
that's 100% been true.
Right.
They're here to learn. I'm here to teach them, and we have a really good relationship because of that.
Right. So how do you build confidence in the students who might feel like they're not very good at math?
So math is not easy, and I think it's important for them to understand that.
Yeah.
So there's a few things. One, confidence is built through practice. I think I tell students all the time, you're not going to feel confident if you're not practicing something.
Right.
And it's completely unrealistic to be presented with something you've never seen before.
Right.
Because people will say math is like a foreign language. It is. Like, there are words that we use, and these words mean things, and there's symbols that we use, and you can't just throw things out all willy-nilly, right? Like, there's order to it. And you have to stick within that order. There's all these rules you have to follow. And it's unrealistic to have all this thrown at you and this new notation, these new vocabulary, this new language, things you've never seen before, and expect to just absorb it immediately. You have to spend some time getting to know it.
Right.
And so I tell them that. I say, you know, you need to not be afraid of working with this. It's going to be even frustrating at times. And that, again, talking about a president, what Dr. Cox said at her installation ceremony when she spoke, that's also stuck with me. She told the students, like, do not shy away from that agitation that you feel when you're learning. And I've said that in my classrooms over this past year. When I can see them getting frustrated, I tell them, you're doing it right. If you feel like you're not getting something good, like that, what you're not getting, that's exactly why you're here.
Right.
So that we can work through that. And in the classroom, I really try to, I've been trying to have a shift. My teaching styles and philosophies are always evolving and changing. But lately, this past academic year, I've really been trying to have conversations rather than lectures with students. I don't want them to feel like, oh, here's this person who knows math so well, and they're just up here pointing at all these things and writing all these things, right? I tell them, you know, I know this stuff. I know this stuff well. So if I'm up here doing all the talking and all the drawing and all the pointing, who's really doing the learning here? You know, like, I want you all to talk to me. Right. Yeah. For us to kind of explore this together. I think it's one thing for me to just present this to you. Right. And it's another thing to try to get them engaged and to really start thinking through things. Right. Rather than me just giving it all to them.
Is there any, like, I guess, a eureka moment like that you recall with a student just all of a sudden getting it?
A eureka moment with a student. My first instinct, I'm sure there have been moments like that, but my first instinct is to say no, because what I'm sure there have been, but what I see more than those instant moments are like chains of progress throughout the semester. I think about a student who, for instance, I can think of a couple of students in my online statistics class that I maybe have never even met, because some of these students, maybe I just talk to them on Zoom, maybe we only have a phone call, but they'll send an email the second week of class asking a couple questions, and they'll send another email. They'll ask to have a Zoom meeting with me. We'll go back and forth about something. They'll send me a picture of their work and say, I don't know where this is going wrong. And it's clear that this student that this material is not necessarily coming to them super easily. Right. That they're having to spend time with it and engage with it, which is exactly what I want them to do. But at the end of the semester, this student is earning a 90-something on the final exam. Wow. Right. And a student who did not necessarily feel confident in the class. Like, they'll tell me, I'm not good at math. I hate math. Math is scary, especially in an online setting for in this example. But so rather than seeing like, oh, a moment where the light bulb went off in this student, what I see is the end result of all of these small steps that you've taken, these small little amounts of effort that you've put in along the way to get to where you're trying to get to at the end of the semester.
Well, how different is it teaching in person and teaching online?
Excellent question. Oh, my goodness. So for me, I try to make it I try to make it not very different teaching in person versus teaching online. When I sit down to think about what I want my online class to look like, I base it off of what I like my in-person class to look like. The same way that I try to have conversations with students and try to get them thinking about things before I just give them information, I also try to do that in my online classes. It is, in my opinion, a lot more difficult and more time-consuming because I can just walk into, if I have an in-person class, I can just leave my office and walk into class with nothing. There'll be a marker in the classroom and I can hit the board and start going. But for an online class, I have to think about, well, what resources do I want to give the student do I want them to have versus me just handing them a sheet of paper? How do I want to present this to them? And when I say how, I mean, do I want them to watch this in a video? Do I want them to read this in a document? Because I have to put some kind of tangible resource in the course for them to be able to use. And then also with these online classes, because in my in-person classes, anyone who's had any of my in-person classes knows that we spend a lot of time where I'm not doing anything in the classroom but walking around, looking at their papers.
That's what I remember.
Yes,
walking in your classroom.
Exactly. I think that's when learning happens the most. When they're the ones talking and writing, and I'm like, hey, where's this coming from? Explain this to me. Talk through this with that. And it's hard to capture that in an online class, right? So what I try to do is I try to create spaces for engagement where I say my intention is that a student looks at this and then before they can go and complete this assignment, they need to go spend 30, 45 minutes, an hour trying to absorb this material, whether it's watching this video, answering these questions. Because another thing I do in my online classes is I try not to just say, oh, here's a 30-minute lecture video, go watch this. I mean, I'm probably not going to want to watch a 30-minute video. But so I'll have this lecture of material I want them to get, but the same way I would be in class and I would stop and say, okay, tell me what we think about this. RCC and the CTL has done a really great job of getting us instructors like resources to use in our online classes to make them very engaging. So I'll have a video that'll stop and have a discussion prompt pop up and say, what do you think about this? Look at this data and give me some kind of conclusion about it, or answer this multiple choice question. And that does a few things. One, it keeps them engaged. At least I hope it does, and they're not just clicking on things. Two, it gives them a chance to stop and to see what what other classmates are saying, because when they answer a question, they can also see what peers in the class are saying. So it's almost like we've had a stopping point in this online class now, and we're having like a class discussion. So things like that. I do not want my online classes to be, oh, you come in, you watch a series of lectures, you answer some questions, you turn it in, you go away, you do the same thing next week. No, I want you to feel like you are walking into a classroom and you are learning, and that you have these expectations set for you, and that you have these standards. I think that's another thing that my students would say, is that I have high standards. You have these standards that even in an online class, I'm going to expect you to meet.
So it's pretty neat that you're able to teach a college level class at a high school. So they're earning they're earning their college credits while they're still in high school.
Yeah, definitely. I don't even know how many years it's been. Maybe, I don't want to lie, 5-ish years or so that I've been going to McMichael, and I can think of handfuls of students that have gone into their 4-year program with up to Calculus 2 taken care of. Some of them have even gone on to taking Calculus 3 here, because I teach up to Calc 2 at McMichael. Then some of them will come here and take Calculus 3 with Miss Saffold. And it is a really good experience. I tell them all the time, I wish I would have done this when I was here at McMichael to have this opportunity, because I didn't. I went to college and then took calculus and so on and so forth.
So are you teaching any courses here on campus, on the
campus? Yeah, I am. It varies semester to semester, but for instance, this semester I just finished teaching pre-calculus trigonometry, Math 172 here on campus. Next semester, I'll be teaching some developmental math courses here on campus. But yeah, I do.
Right.
I also teach here. And I like I don't want anyone to think, oh, it's McMichael. No, I love all of my classes that I teach here. I walk into the classrooms here on campus. And even my classrooms here on campus have a pretty good mix of high school students, some that may come over from Rockingham, some from Community Baptist sometimes, or other schools in the area. And then even some traditional students that are just here at RCC as well.
Right. Very diverse.
It is. It is.
Is there any difference in the way that you teach, like the college students versus the younger high school students?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So, and I would never want there to be. And I think when this idea came out, that was clear, that this is not supposed to be, this is not a watered down version of college classes. This is not an abbreviated version. This is a college class.
And that makes sense. I mean, it's college credit.
Exactly, exactly. And I'm going to treat you like a college student. Now, something that I am mindful of is that these are high school students, especially when I'm at the high school, because there is a difference. I think there can be a difference between teaching a high school student here on campus and teaching a high school student on their campus. You know, there's location, there's a mentality that comes, like I'm telling you this isn't a college class, but you're sitting in your high school. Right. I'm telling you this is a college class, but you're sitting in your high school, the bell's about to ring, you're going to go to lunch, you know? So there is that. And so with the fact that they are high school students, I am cognizant of that. And I do give them grace when needed. I also don't let them abuse that grace. But more importantly, I think what I'm really trying to do in there is, and Lori Murphy, the chair of the math department, she uses this word a lot, is scaffold them up to what they can expect. Right. And I think us in the math department have had a lot of conversations about scaffolding this and kind of seeing the community college as a bridge between where students are and where students want to go, and helping them make that connection. And so I do, there is grace that is given, but there's also like supports and structures in place to help support them to meet the expectations that I have for them. Yeah.
Well, let's switch gears a little bit, get out of the classroom. So tell me what you do when you're not in the classroom. What do you do on your time off? How do you relax?
When I'm not in the classroom, I like to garden. I like to landscape. I have I brought a new build, so my land was just it was just sod. Right. So I've been adding trees and kind of envisioning what I want my yard to look like. My daughters help me with that sometimes.
And how old is she?
So I have two. I have Ava, who is 11. She's about to start middle school, and Amy, who is going to kindergarten.
Oh, my goodness.
She is 5. Yeah, my two little girls. Both my girls are in karate, so I'm a karate mom. I spend some weekends at the dojo and throughout the week going to their classes, and yeah.
And you're also involved in the community.
I am. I'm currently serving as the board chair of the Reedsville Area Foundation. I've been with the foundation for, I think, maybe about 7 years now. Wow. I really enjoy the work that I do there. It is really valuable. There's so many things that I love about working with the foundation. It's really valuable to see local dollars supporting local goals, staying within the community, helping to increase access for education, healthcare. I mean, even said out of the classroom. I have a hard time staying out of the classroom. I mean, the whole reason why faculty are able to travel to the high schools and teach in the classrooms was through a grant a few years ago from the Reedsville Area Foundation. But yeah, I'm really proud of a lot of the work that we've done there over the past few years, and a lot of the work that we're still working on over at the foundation. We have some new things coming through. We've partnered with the Harwood Institute. So yeah, I'm really excited.
Yeah. Tell me what's going on this summer. So you're going to be kind of busy this summer.
Yes, I'm going to be very busy this summer. So it all started 2 years ago. Well, let me take it back even a little bit further than that. I really love teaching. I love teaching so much that sometimes I go out and seek other teaching jobs. So I adjunct at another school in another community college, and through that community college, I heard that the North Carolina School for Science and Math was looking for proposals for instructors to come in and do summer camps.
Right.
And I said, well, I love teaching. I would love to teach. So sure. So I submitted several proposals basically to do the same thing that I do in the high schools. Said I can do a trig class. I can do a statistics class, a little bit of pre-calculus. And I proposed it for high school students. And they came back and said, we would love to do this with middle schoolers.
Right.
And I kind of said, I don't work with middle school. I don't work with middle schoolers. They're so young. And they were like, come on, just do it. I said, okay, sure. And I did it. And I mean, I had a really great experience. I don't know. I didn't feel like I was working with, I felt like I was helping people understand trigonometry.
Right.
And I came home and I said, why are we not doing something like this at RCC? And I remembered years ago when I was young, me and my brother, who's also a student here, he's about to graduate, but we would come and do Egomania, I think it was called. I took tennis classes. He did a creating writing class, and I remember sitting in the hall waiting for my mom to pick us up. And I was like, we should do something like that. And so I went to Miss Regan and I told her what I did and I told her about my idea and she supported it. She shared it with Miss Alice and Miss Murphy. And there's been a whole chain of people across, even you, Liv Brookshire, a whole chain of people across campus that have kind of helped rally around, I would like to put on some summer camps and get some kids from the county in some classrooms, just talking about some things. And so that's what we're doing this summer. We have 2 summer camps, one in June, one in July, one for statistics and one for trigonometry. And I'm just going to take some kids and explore some math with them. I'm really excited. I'm excited for a lot of things. I'm excited that they're not going to be graded.
Right.
I'm excited that they don't need to I'm hoping that they can see that, I'm not getting a grade out of this as an opportunity to really just try to learn rather than say try to get an A or try to get a B. Just try to learn something. Try to explore something. And also just to have some conversations of what to expect.
Right.
What to expect when you get to high school, what to expect eventually when you're going on to college. Start working on some of these soft skills that you need, how to talk to people, how to communicate ideas that you have, things like that. So yeah, I'm really excited to be working with some students this summer. Last I checked, there's still, I think, 15 seats available in the trig class and about 20-ish seats in the statistics class. But yeah, I'm excited to already see some kids signed up for it.
Yeah. Well, awesome. So what is the age group for that?
So it's 13 and up.
Okay.
So in my mind, I think that's rising 7th, 8th, and 9th graders.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, is there anything that I have not asked you about that you want to talk about?
No, I think you've covered it all. These were really excellent questions, and thank you for taking the time to talk to me, Jerry.
Well, thank you so much, Nadine, for joining me here today for Eagle Exchange.
You're very welcome.
Please join us next time as we get to know another one of our faculty or staff members that is making a really big impact on students and the community here at Rockingham Community College.